Hi everybody, this video is going to be another plan video for my bullet journal, and this is my theme for March. As you can see, I'm going with more of kind of a unique theme, not your typical springy type of theme for March. I decided to go with a castle theme, which isn't really something I've seen before, so I was excited to tackle it. So for my cover page, as you can see, I'm drawing a castle turret on the left hand side here, and then on the right hand side I'm going to draw a castle gate, or portcullis is the official term for it. I was a little bit worried going into this planning because I thought drawing a castle might be a little bit difficult, but it turned out to be really fun and easy. At the top of the page, in order to frame the March title, I made a little flag coming out from the top of the castle, and then I also used all sorts of gray colors to shade in my castle, and little details such as this to add a brick look. And all you have to do is do some horizontal lines and vertical lines to get that brick effect on your castle. I found it really enjoyable to do completely monochrome theme, all gray colors, and using those gray colors to add dimension and shading at the bottom here, giving a little bit of a shadow to the base of the turret. And you have to add a bit of shading underneath these top elements to give it that 3D effect, and also shading your little bricks. You may have noticed that I'm actually doing this in a different journal than the last video, and that's because I initially recorded this setup in my actual journal, and then when I went to edit the footage, it was all out of focus. I was so sad, but luckily I had this separate bullet journal from a couple years ago to practice in, so I was able to still come back and recreate it for this video. I've been enjoying including these small calendars at the start of each month, just so I don't have to reference the beginning calendar that I always put in my initial bullet journal setup. So it's kind of helpful to have it in there just in case, as a way to look at a tiny little overview of the month. Alright, so now we're moving on to the monthly spread, which I love to do every month. So I want to really stick with the castle theme, so I decided to make the full calendar a castle, and you can see it's framed here by a couple of long and tall castle turrets. And then to add a little border, just need to add this sort of jagged line at the top to give the impression of a castle wall top. I felt my last month I didn't really have enough space to write everything down in each day, so I did decide to expand my calendar and make each box a little bit bigger this month, and I think it's going to work out for me. I'm just adding a couple details such as windows, as well as the little bricks that I explained in the previous page, to the walls, as well as the empty days at the top of the calendar. To mark each day, I'm just doing a little faint gray box where I'm going to then come in and write each number of each day. Always have to add a little bit of dimension to give that cylindrical feel, so just some of this light gray Tombow brush marker to each side of the turrets to make it look like a real castle. I really felt like the Tambo selection of gray markers worked really good for this spread. They have this good selection going from light to dark of markers that made it really easy to do a realistic shading for all of the parts. So at the bottom of my calendar, I decided to add just a little bit of darkness to maybe root the calendar to the bottom of the page. I don't really think this part is that necessary, but I decided to try it and see what it looked like. I still don't know how I feel. And then just writing in each day of the month with my Sakura Micron pen. And then, of course, we have to put March at the top. And echoing the same look of the previous page, I decided to frame the March in a flag at the top of the castle. And for the most part, that finishes our calendar spread. And these next couple of pages are new additions. I decided to try something new. And this page is actually a page I sort of neglected to put in my bullet journal setup. It is a things to check out page. I always get recommended books, restaurants, movies, music from other people, and I don't really have a central spot to put it in, so that's what that things to check out page is going to be for. And then on this right page, I decided to try a gratitude spread. I saw this idea on Pinterest and thought it might be kind of cool and interesting. So how it works is for every day, you have to write in something that you're grateful for. And I really don't think it matters what it is. It could be something simple, like a good meal or some free time that you had that day that you're grateful for. So I wanted to try it and see if it really helps to be more thankful for all of the things in my life and all of the real blessings that I have and the people in my life and all those things. I think it's going to be a fun spread. And of course, it's underneath the portcullis. So each line is going to be a day 1 to 31 all the way down. So I have one line each day to fill in. And just to break it up a little bit, to make it a little more legible, I'm adding these alternating gray and white stripes all the way down the page. Alright, so now we're moving on to a couple of tracking pages. I mentioned in my last bullet journal video that I don't really like to track habits, and that hasn't changed. So this page is actually just a plant watering tracker, and to frame them, I'm doing them in these little cute flags, and I don't know, I thought they kind of had a medieval-ish feel to them. Maybe they're not exactly castle-esque, but it was kind of hard to think of a castle-esque thing that could work for a monthly tracker like this. So I have 6-ish things I have to track. They include my bonsai, which needs to be watered almost daily. I also have a couple more low-key house plants, palm, anthurium, croton, that don't need to be watered as frequently, so they're kind of easy to forget about. And then I also have orchids and carnivorous plants. So they all kind of have a different schedule, and I just want to make sure that I'm staying on track with the proper watering and so on. So, and then on this page, I'm doing my workout tracker. And this is kind of an alternate monthly look. Someone suggested in the comments of my last video that I make my workout days larger, and that's what I'm doing. So you can see the larger boxes are my planned workout days, and I usually try to work out 4 days out of the week instead of more than that. I think it's a good balance. And then the smaller days, if I do some sort of longer activity, walking or yoga or whatnot, a bike ride, I can also put that in there as well. So I think this will be a little bit easier to fit out all of my workout into each page. So whoever suggested that, thank you so much. I forgot who it was, I'm sorry. And working on my calligraphy here, you could probably see I'm trying my best with the calligraphy. I'm not good yet, but I'm practicing. I decided to add some faint bricks here on the plant tracker page as well. And last but not least, it's time for the weekly spread. So for the first week of March, I'm doing this big castle turret in the center of the page. I've kind of become an expert at drawing these turrets now. It's pretty easy, so give it a shot. And just the little details of the windows and the bricks, and then some shading, of course, give it the dimension it needs. And I decided to also add that little bit of shading next to the bricks at the top, and going in with just slightly different shades of gray to further the dimension, and some dark corners in the windows to make them look a little bit deeper than they are. And I went for the same horizontal look. I've been doing also vertical spreads the past month, and I find that they also work really well. So maybe for April I will do a vertical spread for you guys. And then just doing this simple gray line and putting the day name in each line. It ends up being kind of minimal, and I really like how it turns out like this. So here's my flip through. And here's the full spread in my actual bullet journal.